Good afternoon, everyone. Hi, humans. What was the old Seinfeld? Hello, human. All right, that's why they always say don't try humor if you're not funny. So I appreciate your being here. I want to share with you a story. It's a story of accidental discovery, and accidental in that we were asked to come into a big company and help manage low resilience in a large work group. But along the way, we discovered a significant gap in optimism and resilience. The leaders in the organization were more optimistic and more resilient than the people they were leading. And as a consequence, there was major change resistance. Now, what I'd like to do with you today is first talk about how we sort of fell into or found the gap. And then the next thing I want to do is talk about why it exists, and then what problems did that gap create, and what can we do about it. But my real interest and my wish is that, well, show of hands, how many of you are involved in some way in change management? Yeah, whew. And I'm supposed to tell you how to fix it? And maybe I can. I'd really like to leave you with a toolkit, with some ideas, with something that's actionable so that you can leave here and apply some of what you learned to try to close the resistance gap in your organizations. That's my hope. You know, speaking of accidental discoveries, there have been many in history. One in particular that to me is notable, and it's frankly kind of entertaining, happened at Pfizer. In the mid-'80s, Pfizer scientists were developing a drug to treat high blood pressure and angina. In the clinical trials in the late '80s, unfortunately, the drug was having minimal impact on those diseases, but there was a consistent and unexpected effect among the male participants in the clinical trial. Now, can you all see that in the back? Some of you may recognize this little blue pill. Can you see it? Yeah. So what to me is extraordinary is by this accidental discovery, to date, Pfizer has enjoyed about a $30 billion revenue flow. So as accidents go, I'd say that's a pretty good one. Now, you might be asking yourself, what the heck does this have to do with leading across the optimism and resilience gap? It doesn't really have anything to do with it. I just thought it was a really good story of accidental discovery. But my accidental discovery actually started with a conversation that I had with this gentleman. His name is Ty Stevenson. Ty was a vice president at Verizon, and Ty had a major job. He was tasked with several things. He had large work groups that were doing, number one, installation and maintenance of the existing Verizon infrastructure. In addition to that, they were installing FiOS, the fiber optic network, which was a major sea change in the organization. And Ty told me, they were customers of ours, we were doing resilience training across the organization, and he said, I think we have low resilience here. I'm noticing low levels of engagement, high levels of absenteeism at the front lines, low levels of productivity and performance. We measured, and sure enough, across the board, we found low resilience. We went in and interviewed leadership to try to understand what was really going on. And this quote, I think, really sums it up. Let me read it for you. We communicate a clear vision and strategy for this initiative, and nothing happens. The further down the line we go, the more people are digging their heels in and resisting the change. So we thought about that, and we thought, you know, we'd been seeing, and informally, we'd been noticing what appeared to be increases in resilience as you go up the line in the organization. We'd never systematically measured it, but in this case, we had a very nice big data set to do so. So we set about measuring and essentially teasing out resilience levels by levels in the organization. This is what we found. It was the statistically significant stepwise increase in resilience from frontline, which is that blue bar or box on the left, all the way up to third level manager red box on the right. I'm going to be here for the duration. If anybody has questions, wants to have a follow-up conversation, just find me. I'm happy to sit down and chat about this work. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so, so much. Thank you.